Cool. Welcome everyone to Findem Live. We're here to share our innovations and story on how to better find, plan, and manage talent. If this is your first time learning about Findem, our Talent Data Cloud is the only talent acquisition and management solution with an AI-first approach powered by 3D data to transform the way you find talent, to reduce technology costs by consolidating disconnected tools, and to automate routine tasks with AI. My name is Benton. I lead product marketing here at Findem, as well as host our monthly Findem Live series. So in the chat, please ask questions throughout this Findem Live, give emoji reactions, whatever you like. And I'm joined by two powerhouse leaders in this space, Brett and Matt. Welcome. Please share just a quick intro before we dive in today.
Hey everybody, my name is Brett Coyne. Been at Findem about 4 months now. I lead what we call our transformation team, which is how to help customers think about not only AI as an assistant, but really incorporating it into everything that they do. Spent about 25 years on the practitioner side, leading TA teams and being a recruiter and a sourcer. So I love this space and having a blast here working at Findem. Welcome everybody and happy holidays.
Thanks, Brett. My name's Matt Kavala. I lead the professional services team here at Findem. Just so excited to have everyone be joining today and see what we've been building here since 2019. It's been a very exciting time to be in the industry and really happy to show you this multi-channel strategy that a lot of people have been adopting.
Awesome. So today at a high level, we offer 5 core products. And in this session, we're going to be diving specifically into how talent leaders are rethinking their talent ecosystem and to go beyond pure direct sourcing to build a focused multi-channel approach to hiring. And so with that, let's start things off with kind of a poll for everyone here. And the question here is just which of the following do you resonate with the most? A, are you spending too much on technology that only delivers a fraction of hires? Or B, you're working inefficiently with incomplete, inaccurate candidate data? Do you feel like you're just looking across too many channels to find talent? Or is something you resonate with around nurturing relationships with candidates is just too difficult? Or you find it challenging? Or something other, please write in the chat. We'll give another maybe 10 seconds on just voting on which one do you resonate with the most. Cool. Last few seconds to choose. And we have enough results. We can also share the results. And so all of these are just examples of challenges we commonly hear from talent leaders. And it looks like 59% of you are feel like you work inefficiently with incomplete, inaccurate candidate data, followed by 24% with you feel like you're spending too much time across too many channels to find talent. And so we do hear all these types of challenges from talent leaders, and they come to us to seek solutions to solve their most kind of frustrating talent challenges. And so with that, Brett, I'd love to kick it off with you. You have the lens of talent transformation when working with our customers to improve how they operate. What are you seeing in the current landscape for TA tech that our audience should be aware of, and how are our customers preparing for the next year?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Couple of things. I'd say I'm watching the chat, some really interesting things in there that we hear from a lot of customers that I experienced myself before I joined Findem. So I would say, first part of your question, I'm going to answer the second part first, what we're hearing from TA leaders thinking about next year. Are hearing, I would say, warmly positive signs that a little bit of growth might return next year. The mix of hiring, we're hearing a little bit of offshore versus onshore here in the United States as a strategy. A lot of companies are deploying. A lot of the peers in the industry are still waiting to hear about their budget next year. Is it going to shrink? Is it going to grow or stay flat as companies navigate macroeconomic conditions? Doing more with less is something that a lot of folks are talking to us about. How can I do more with less? And then the big one that keeps coming up is AI. Everyone's at a different point in their journey. Some TA teams are just starting to think about AI and using ChatGPT and things such as that for what I would describe as like an assistant. Others have been leveraging some basic AI tools for a couple of years and still figuring out how to make it work for them. And others are even starting to think about how do we leverage AI in everything we do. So those are kind of the big themes that we're hearing on the technology side. Someone just put it in the chat. Based on the past 12, 18 months, what's going on in the market, unfortunate things in the market with companies downsizing, inundation of candidates, qualified, really good candidates. That inbound channel has been producing great hires for a lot of companies, I've been hearing. But sorting through and filtering is an issue. So that's just one of many things that's a big trend in the industry right now, technology-wise.
Awesome. And I know, Brett, you had a couple of topics to brush on about this multi-channel approach. So just over to you.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about why building. I saw in the poll, right? Too many channels. Yeah, I agree, but I disagree. I think we need to leverage multiple channels to ensure that we're building diverse quality, diverse pipelines at scale. How we do that historically in the industry has been very hard. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about that, talking about the benefits of a talent ecosystem, maybe how to think about it a little bit differently, share some of my own experiences doing it at the prior two companies I worked for, and then get people really grounded in what a talent ecosystem is. And then we're going to turn it over to Matt, who's going to share a quick demo of the Findem product for folks who are interested. And you'll see some similarities. That Findem was really built AI first, but predicated on helping folks like myself and people on the call who have done the recruiting job work smarter and faster. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share a couple slides here. All right, so topic of my presentation today at Findem Live, building and working in a multi-channel talent ecosystem, and that it works. The proof is in the pudding. I'm going to talk about that. Why I think everybody should adopt this strategy, whether you're a leader, organizationally, why it's important to maybe think about adopting an ecosystem proactive ecosystem strategy, and for a user, recruiter and sourcer, how working in an ecosystem can benefit you versus maybe just running a bunch of searches or going through one at a time. All those inbound that I saw in the chat, that I agree, that is a struggle. Today's challenge, I'm going to ask everybody to just reevaluate our value proposition. What do I mean by that? On the left-hand side, you see a bunch of circles. I'm going to kind of call that loosely a talent ecosystem for right now. Really, it's a multi-channel sourcing approach. There's lots of sources. They're not all on here. Talent is everywhere, and there may be channels or ways you're getting talent that essentially are not listed on here. Totally understand that. These are big channels that might align to maybe source a hire. So when a leader runs source a hire data and they look at where are we getting our talent, these are typically some of the main channels. Okay. And what you see here are some colors, and what I think about for the past 25 years I've been in this business, way too much time, way too many tools are spent helping us find brand new cold leads, outreach. When I think about an ecosystem and where to spend time, I really, really like the other circles a lot more. The circles in purple, right, are warm leads. These are candidates or talent that has already chosen to really interact with your brand. They've applied to a job. They've applied to a current opening. They're in your ATS, or there may be 1 degree of separation from somebody who knows them. And then in green, right, these are leads that we know and that we have a relationship with. Contractors who might convert to full-time, internal employees who are already working there, alumni, they already worked there at one point, maybe you invite them back. And if you're building talent pools, putting concentrations of qualified, diverse talent that you hire all the time, an example would be enterprise sales reps in the talent pools and building relationships with them. These tend to have much higher conversion rates. And when you back up and look at from where the hires are coming from, I'll show you in a minute, that tends to be the channels that produce more. Long time, the industry's been operating the same way. Think about a recruiter, you get into the space, what do? You're given a license to a tool, you log in, you type some keywords, and away you go. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And if you think about, does that input align to the output? What we hear from most of our customers and what I've seen in my career is no, it doesn't. And I wanted to test out an AI tool. So I asked Google's Bard, what is the source of hire breakdown at most companies? And this is what they came up with. I'd say this is relatively accurate to what we hear from most of our customers. That other sources can be a lot of things. It's contractor conversions, alumni, intern conversions, university hires, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I know leaders spend a lot of money on tools to go search outbound leads, and recruiters and sourcers spend a lot of their time there. And on average, I see anywhere between 10 to 25% of the hires come from that. Smaller companies tend to do a little more outbound sourcing. As companies mature, their hires tend to come from other places. Challenge with that is it's very passive. As a recruiter or sourcer, those leads are coming to you and you can't really control them, who applies, finding people in your ATS, who chooses to refer a candidate. What you can control is going and running searches. So I think that's why a lot of us spend our time there. But when you step back and look at what's the ROI of time and money spent relative to where the hires are coming from, this is usually what we're seeing from our customers. So when I step back and think about that talent ecosystem, how do you make it work for you organizationally as well as individually? It's changing a mindset and thinking differently about how you work, where you make your investments, and where you spend your time. So when I think about defining a talent ecosystem, a very holistic, multi-channel and multi-medium, right? The medium is the message sometimes. Different audiences need different messages and ways to engage. Strategy that empowers your ability to not only identify, hire, grow, and develop, but mobilize and retain talent at scale. Think about the entire ecosystem working together as one. It can be overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is break down very simply how you can make that work organizationally, or how as an individual you can say, hey, search is outbound search on a tool doing keywords and Booleans. Yeah, it's a part of my week or my day, but I'm going to think differently about how I spend my time, and maybe I can optimize those other channels that are already producing more hires. Okay. So when you think about putting the power in a recruiter's hand, that's something Findem does really well. From one search, Findem can actually help you proactively source and engage talent from multiple channels. So I'm going to think about starting with the talent you know. As a leader, you may be spending a lot of time on driving on ads and campaigns and job slots to drive traffic. My question from there, and I always face, is like, but then I can't find the people in my ATS because the search functionality is not good. Right. But thinking about what if we just started every search with the talent that we know, people who are applying, people who are in our ATS, maybe applied 2 years ago, and the employees. Second, what if we could apply those same searches that we're running and get the same results to talent that's in our CRM, maybe some talent pools. If we could actually do referral matching, help the employees see who's in their network, who's a perfect fit for the job, and how do we go find all the great people that maybe left a company and were gone for a couple of years, gaining new skills, and invite them back. If we can't build diverse, qualified, quality pipelines from 6 channels, by all means, go externally search. When I sit in the middle of that as a recruiter or sourcer, am I spending time in all these channels, and can I do it easily and simply? No, but Findem can help you with that, right? And I think about how to really build a system around this. So if you're spending your time working all these channels, what I see a lot of recruiters and sourcers do is they're always looking for the current candidate to fill the current rec. This is where a lot of people stop. To really gain scale organizationally, or even as an individual, what if you took all that qualified, diverse talent that you think is a great fit for a job, but maybe the timing's off? Hey, call me after the holidays. Hey, I just got a new stock grant. Hey, I just got put on a new project. I'm not ready to make a move. And the recruiter's thinking, but you're a perfect fit. That's okay. Let's make sure we put that talent in what I'm going to call a functional talent pool. We know we're going to hire 20 Java developers a year. Let's go build a pool of 100 Java developers and build relationships with them. Then when we have the right job at the right time, that becomes a new source of talent. So creating that flywheel, aligning your technology investments as a leader to the ecosystem strategy. This is a real source of hire data. During my Okta tenure, we were able to get our hires coming from outbound direct source down to almost 11%. Had a lot of money tied up in there, right? It could decrease that investment and redeploy to other channels. We built talent pools. That became about 8% of our hires. But if you saw that slide, the point is, if you spend time in these other channels, you can actually proactively double and triple the amount of hires coming from there. So as a leader, it decreases your cost and dependency on outbound sourcing and all the tools associated with that. And as a recruiter and sourcer, it helps give you much more opportunities to show up with qualified, diverse candidates for that hiring manager kickoff. Where we're going in the future, what Findem can do, and I think the industry, is then automating a lot of those tasks that we do on a day-to-day basis. So giving yourself more opportunities to be successful, diversity in every channel, working multiple channels, tying your investment strategy to technology that helps optimize all that. Very highly strategic way to go about your day and build for the future, infused with AI at every step. So that is what Findem's about, but the strategy comes before the technology. And I'm going to turn over to Matt, who's going to share a glimpse of what the product actually does, aligning to what we just shared. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. It is very helpful, though, to realize how Findem has evolved to sharing these types of slides. Brett, you touched on something that's very quickly, but it is monumental in that when Brett and I speak with VPs and CHROs, and we're just simply asking, what did you learn in 2023? What type of data did you come across in 2023 to impact your 2024 TA decision makings? That's the type of data that we're looking at. We're looking at the direct sourcing as roughly 15 to 25%. We're taking a look at employee referrals being roughly 30 to 35%, or other job boards being 30%, or sources. I mean, when you actually look at the hiring attribution that's coming down, and we're talking with these leaders, and then Brett and I took a step back and we were like, so you mean to tell me that if we just removed all of your direct sourcing, that you'd still reach 85% of your hires? And then even just sitting with that data, right? And then asking ourselves, well, how do we even know if we're investing in the most successful channel? Only 15% of our hires are coming from direct sourcing. That's what got Findem thinking, well, how do we actually become the key to unlock all those additional channels? People have this data, it's sitting in your ATS, it's sitting in a CRM, it's sitting out on the internet, but there's no way to access the information. So what we're going to walk through today is how we can provide the key in order to unlock this data. There we go. If anyone is interested in like AI search capabilities or Findem's integration with ChatGPT, there has been previous Findem Live webinars on that, so I'd recommend to go ahead and check it out. What I'm going to do is, you'll notice for a search assistant, I typically like to interact and talk with AI. That way I can learn and teach it what I need to go in order to go ahead and find out what the information is I need. So if I'd like to look for sales leader with startup experience in the United States and Canada, I'm going to hit continue. Findem will then generate my prompts, and then we'll see our multiple channels here. In addition, there are what Findem considers impossible searches that cannot be done on any other platform. If those types of searches are of interest to anyone on this call, please either schedule a call with Findem, more than happy to walk through, or listen back to one of our attribute conversations. Some attributes from here would be, if I would like sales leaders specifically that have not just worked in sales, but they physically have scaled companies from 10 million to 20 million, 20 million to 50 to 100, for an example. Or I would like the AI to start recommending my team particular titles that I might have missed, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add account executive. These might be people that would be willing to step up into the role. So many people are looking for managers. Let me find people that I can promote into this role, higher probability that they move over here. Or for a quick example, I don't really want to just rely on one source of data. I'd like to go ahead and see if you have any past or current experience at a software as a service company. I have experience at SaaS companies, but I do not have SaaS written on my LinkedIn. So if anyone's using SaaS on like a LinkedIn search, I will not populate in your search. But because Findem's collecting like Bloomberg, Craft, Crunchbase data, layering it all into one tool, you're able to go ahead and capture those candidates. Now, what Brett's getting at are these channels across the top of the screen. And so many people are taking a look across the top of the screen and just asking myself, how are my pools changing as I alter and calibrate my search, right? One search, 6 different channels on here. You'll see that I'm connected to Findem's greenhouse. And I already off the bat have 1,000 candidates in my greenhouse that would be a potential fit for this role. And I can go ahead and see the score rank matching of each of the candidates based on the degree of nice to have and must have skills that each of these candidates have. Furthermore, Findem is actually updating and enriching our own greenhouse system, or would be your ATS system. So if David, for an example, if we said, David, we're not interested, or David didn't move forward with an offer at some point, but I want to keep tabs on David, I want to know what David's been up to, Findem, every time the Findem database is updated, we will be pushing that data to your ATS system. Maybe I need data on my ATS though. So for an example, of these 1,000 candidates, let me see where these people are located. Is Findem messaging to certain types of people, in the United States that we're taking a look at? It looks like there's a vast majority of people out in Colorado that I already know that Findem brand that might be a good fit. I can actually click down into this area and see the types of people that would be a good fit for this role. If I want to take it one step further, maybe I don't want just my ATS. I like to know who has been so interested in working for Findem that they've actually gone to Findem's website and inbound applied for this particular role. That's going to be my inbound applicants tab. So now I can go ahead and connect any of the jobs that I have in my ATS and I can hit save, and it will generate all the candidates that have actually gone to Findem's website and inbound applied for this role. Not only will I be able to go ahead and see who these candidates are, but I can start seeing, okay, what types of skills do these people have? What types of things are they missing, right? So if I want to go ahead and click in, okay, it looks like we have some startup experience in here. They haven't scaled a company that I'm looking for. They're missing the titles that I'd ideally like, but I'd still like to have a conversation with them. I might want to ask the system, give me 5 good interview questions for this candidate. And then while AI is doing most of my work and automating what I need to do, just from like basic interview examples, I'm going to go ahead and scroll through. There's some work experience here. There's some education that I might want to look for. Looks like there's some awards out there on the internet, certifications. Angela, who already works for Findem, knows this candidate. And now I already have 5 solid interview questions that I can start asking people in preparation for my call. So before we've even touched on any of the other searches, so many people that we're working with in 2024, they're saying, hey, I have so many candidates in my applicant tracking system, just update the data, tell me who's a good fit, make the recommendation, and then I just need to quickly move through these 19 candidates and get on the next. My team needs to just use the 19 candidates and move on. If I still need more people, there's 5 people already internally at Findem that might be a good fit for this role. I might want to go ahead and tap one of them on the shoulder. I want to go ahead and ask them quickly, hey, to go ahead and increase some internal mobility in here, are any of these people would be a good fit? Let me go ahead and sync up with our managers. I already have 14,000 people in my Findem CRM that would be a good fit, right? So I can tell Brett, if Brett's asking me, hey, we need a sales leader. It's like, perfect. I already have talent communities spinning up. This is on an automated newsletter that's going out. People have forms that they're filling out on here. Let me go ahead and just tap on some of them, see if they're interested in joining our company. Furthermore in there, we'll also give you employee referrals. This goes beyond just general connections. This is layering across time and the internet. So it's seeing when Benton worked at each company, and if Benton and I worked on the same company at the same department at the same time, there's a probability that they might know someone, right? So this is an entire strategy in itself. I have 18,000 potential connections at Findem here, where I would like to leverage a potential connection or reach out to Alexander or Brad and say, hey, like Christopher's been doing phenomenally well here at Findem. Would love to connect with you more, learn a little bit more about what you would like to do. And the last area on here for the multi-channel is going to be people that have left Findem. So these are candidates that have left Findem and now are somewhere else that would be a good fit. First, I need to know where they're going. We're losing top talent. I have to know who I'm losing top talent to. And the second is, okay, what's my win back strategy? How are we going to ensure that we're going to win these people back? I already know that these people can do the job. So how am I going to win these people back? Through these 5 channels across the top of the screen, if you still haven't reached the hiring goals that you want, if you still haven't decreased the time to interview, then we can go into an external sourcing. We can go into hunting mode. We can figure out, okay, there's 193,000 people that would be a good fit. Let me calibrate the left-hand side of the search, right? This is how we all know what to do. But in order to elevate our teams and make more data-driven decisions, Findem is also a data-driven platform. So you'll have these PDF reports tell you exactly who we're looking for. Give me the diversity breakdown. Give me the locations. Start recommending me strategies, right? So if I scroll past some of these reports in here, I can just go ahead and say, okay, perfect. I would like to go ahead and see most people are in San Francisco, New York. I don't want any of those people. Let me go ahead and look in Austin, Texas, and Atlanta. Let me see any people matching by the job titles or the companies. Do I have specific campaigns going to these people at companies or by skills, right? So now we're elevating. So then when we're actually collaborating with our team and our pool hits 0, and so many times it makes Brett and I cringe, but when the pool hits 0, especially on some of those niche searches, and we ask, well, what do you do? And Brett, what do people say? They say, I send more LinkedIns and I hope that people respond, right? Now instead of we send more LinkedIn emails, we say, I have 19 people that have already inbound applied for this role that I'm going to go ahead and reach out to. I have 1,000 people in my greenhouse system that I'm already enriching and I have automated campaigns. There's 5 people internally here at Findem that I like to reach out to. There's 14,000 people in a CRM. There's got to be someone in there I can find. And there's 18,000 people that I'm referred to. I'm just going to take the first 100 and automate a newsletter out to them and see if I can get any of the connections. And it looks like we've lost talent here in 9 areas. I'd like to just do an analyst, like a root cause report on here. Between all this information and then sharing data with the hiring manager to set these expectations, we now have unlocked the key to the data that we need in order to make our educated business decisions here in 2024. And the final piece on top of all this comes down to analytics. So you'll be able to have fully built out analytics and dashboards when it comes to what are the actions needed for these particular roles that I'm working on. So as a leader, I'm looking at my team and I'm saying there's been 59 new candidates that have inbound applied for these particular roles. Why aren't we actioning? We need to move through, right? So not just having one funnel view in the ATS, one funnel view in your sourcing tool, one funnel view in your CRM, one consolidated view so that everyone can go ahead and action and decrease that time to interview. So Brett, that was everything that I want to walk through. I know we have 3 minutes. You're the practitioner here. Anything, words of wisdom, insights? I know you've lived it.
Yeah, look, it's why I joined, right? I mean, I was so impressed with this because my goal was always to source no one, create so much demand for the product, which is to create your company, leverage so many channels to give yourselves the best chance to build quality, diverse pipelines, optimize the channels that were producing the most hires versus going out and trying to constantly find net new cold leads and convince them to come talk to you. It's a lot of hard work. You need a lot of people to do that. And the time and technology investment rarely align to where the hires are actually coming from. So for me, what's exciting, especially for recruiters and sourcers, is we love our search, but just searching in one place, in one way, wasn't always an effective way. Based on, like you said, like at Okta, my role there, we could have stopped sourcing altogether and still filled 90% of our jobs. So it's taking a step back and thinking differently about where you're spending your time, where you're spending your money, doubling down, tripling down, optimizing all these other channels where the leads are warmer and higher rate of conversion, leveraging AI to help filter and sort and get you there quickly. Much more as a leader and an individual, I just felt, much more, productive way to spend your time. But I never saw a technology that could do it until I came here. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, and if I can just add, Findem does practice what they preach. The vast majority of the Findem North American hires are coming all from either people in our ATS system or referrals. I mean, just even to look into the data and see, I'm already referred to this many people, let's get a connection. Or I've already had people applied to these jobs has significantly helped Findem personally when it comes to hiring. And we just greatly appreciate the opportunity for everyone to learn a little bit more about what we've been building.
Love it. That is a perfect close. So we also want to know if this was useful. We have a quick little poll to end the session. If you'd like to hear from someone on our team, please take a second to answer the poll, yes or no. And thank you all for tuning in. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn or through our website. With that, have happy holidays, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.